Caiti Waks graduated from Palmer Trinity in 2007. She received her BA from the University of Miami in Ecosystem Science and Policy. After that, she received her JD from the University of Florida, specializing in coastal and marine law and policy. There, she worked in a clinic to facilitate the establishment of a marine protected area in the Bahamas and worked for other nonprofit organizations, fulfilling their conservation goals. After law school, Caiti and two other law graduates founded Debris Free Oceans, a nonprofit dedicated to inspire communities to manage the life cycle of plastics and waste as a part of the global initiative to rid the earth of marine debris. The organization focuses on researching and raising awareness to the use of single-use plastics. Along with this, she is also a board member of the Marine and Waterfront Authority for the City of Miami Beach and director for the Herbert W. Hoover Foundation. Please join me in welcoming Caiti Waks.
But anyway, I'm really excited to be here today to talk to you a little bit about plastic pollution and the issue of marine debris. To get started, I have a little presentation up. I'd like to start looking really large scale. So this is our galaxy, the Milky Way galaxy. There are 400 billion stars in the Milky Way galaxy, all right? So in 2015, that's 3 years ago, scientists estimated that there were 5.25 trillion pieces of plastic in the ocean. So that means that 3 years ago, we had 13 times more pieces of plastic in our ocean than we had stars in our very own galaxy. This is increasing at a rate of a garbage truck every single minute, to the extent that by 2050, scientists estimate that there will be more plastic in the ocean than fish by weight. So, this is also a very local problem. That was kind of talking about the global perspective. But as you know, this is beautiful, sunny South Florida. We have two national parks here, Everglades National Park and Biscayne National Park. And this is a picture that I took in Biscayne National Park in Elliott Key, which is about 9 miles offshore. Nobody comes there, nobody lives there. It's kind of a desolate little nice island, but this is what's washing ashore here. So we have 4 million people that live in Miami creating garbage, and we also have 12 million visitors coming to Miami every year, also creating garbage. So we have all of our water flows are flowing into Biscayne Bay and ultimately washing onto these types of islands, as well as we get a lot of garbage coming up from the Caribbean and other places throughout the world on our international currents. So, why is most of this plastic? So 80% of marine debris that we find in the ocean is plastic. And this is because plastics are forever, unfortunately not as gorgeous as a diamond, but plastics are made from oil. So unlike something like an apple where you throw it out the window and it'll biodegrade into its original organic parts, you guys are taking chemistry right now, so it'll break down into carbon, nitrogen, maybe even build an apple tree. A plastic water bottle, say for example, that you put in that same area will end up lasting there in perpetuity, but it will do something called photodegradation. Photo meaning sun. It'll break up because of the sun, but its chemical structure always remains the same. So unlike breaking down into the carbon and nitrogen, it just breaks up into smaller chains of oil polymers linked together, and that's why plastic remains in the environment in perpetuity. So, how is it all getting there, right? A lot of us may think it's people being careless at the beach or, you know, ocean vehicles, vessels dropping things offshore, but that's only about 20% of it. 80% of all of this garbage entering into the ocean is from land-based sources. So if you look at that map with all the pretty colors on it, that outlines basically all of the different tributaries and rivers running throughout the United States. And so you can see how easy it is for, say, even a straw falls out of the garbage in Colorado. If it rains, it'll go into a nearby storm drain. That storm drain leads to a local waterway, and as you can see from that map, all waterways are interconnected and all waterways flow ultimately to the ocean. So no matter where we are, this concept of throwing things away really just means we're putting it somewhere else, which oftentimes is the ocean. And if you look at that picture on the bottom right-hand corner, I actually took that picture on Miami Beach, that's 2nd in Washington, and that's a picture of one of our storm drains. So whenever you see trash littering the ground in the streets, it often flows into the storm drains, and our storm drains locally lead directly to Biscayne Bay. Okay, so why do we care, right? All right, there's a bunch of garbage in the ocean. The main impacts for plastic pollution are they hurt animals and marine life. It harms our health, and it also harms Miami's economy. So I'm going to go over this briefly. So there's 2 ways in which animals are impacted by marine debris, one of which is entanglement. So over 700 species of marine debris species of marine life get entangled in marine debris, whether it's fishing nets, 6-pack holders, what have you. They don't have opposable thumbs like we do, luckily, so they can't get themselves out of it. The second way is through ingestion. So these plastic pieces, when they're in the ocean, they do something called biofouling, which means they kind of grow this slimy layer of algae on it, and that slimy layer of algae smells a lot like yummy food to both birds and fish. So they will actually be attracted to it and eat it, thinking it's food. Ultimately, that leads to things like starvation, because you're really just filling yourself up with a bunch of plastic. Also, that issue leads to health problems for us, which I'll get into a little bit later. But just a quick stat, 90% of seabirds right now have ingested pieces of plastic, and by 2050, that's expected to increase to 99%. Okay, so this also impacts land-dwelling creatures, which I recently just started investigating and thought was really interesting, because we often talk about the ocean, which obviously is a huge issue, but if you look at the picture in the bottom left, that's actually the contents of a camel from the United Arab Emirates. And half of the camels there have been dying because of eating plastic bags. And the picture all the way to the right are actually cattle ranchers from Texas who were petitioning the government to allow them to ban plastic bags in their local municipalities because their cattle were ingesting this plastic and it was hurting their bottom line and ability to make money. All right, so next thing, human health. So this is kind of a big one. So plastic impacts our human health in 2 ways. The first is it impacts us directly in the sense that plastic is made from oil and chemicals. So imagine putting that in your body over and over all the time. So for example, when you're drinking out of a plastic water bottle, a new study just came out confirming that over 94% of plastic water bottles actually contain small pieces of plastic in them that are breaking off from the plastic bottle, so that's going in you. But then secondly, when plastic enters the marine environment, it acts as like a sponge. So unlike when basically all the chemicals that are already in the ocean will get attracted to it, so it kind of absorbs them. And then these fish, who think it smells like food, start eating them. Larger fish eat them, we eat the larger fish. Next thing you know, your tuna roll is filled with a bunch of plastic toxins, which isn't the best. So that's just kind of a diagram of how that happens. All right, so economics. This is also a big one, especially for Miami, that we're based off of real estate and tourism economy. So we have a bunch of multi-million-dollar homes, right? What's the value of that home when it's covered in garbage and the water is polluted? The home values are going to go down. That means our ability to make money as a city goes down. Additionally, with tourism, there were studies in South Africa, New Jersey, California, all confirming that people will, 1, pay more to go to cleaner beaches, and 2, beaches that were dirty lost money in tourism revenue. So in order to maintain our city's lifestyle, we'll want to clean it up. All right, so That was a lot, I'll take a deep breath. But basically, this plastic problem hasn't been around very long. Like, it's been here for all of our lifetimes, which is kind of crazy to think about, but it really only came around in the 1950s. That's when plastic became ubiquitous after World War II. And this is a picture of the cover of a Life magazine in 1955, and this was kind of when throwaway lifestyles came to be, and it was really exciting. As you can see, these people are super stoked. They're like throwing it all over the place. And so we've kind of been living under this assumption that we can continue to create plastic without repercussions. So this is a diagram showing you early 1950s, basically producing no plastic. Then, moving up to today, we're creating hundreds of metric tons of plastic every year. So we've basically been functioning on this linear vision of how to produce, consume, and discard goods, right? We make something, we use it, and then we throw it away. And we don't really think of the before and after. But this model is assuming two fictions. One, that we have infinite resources. We know that oil is not a renewable resource, so it doesn't make a lot of sense to keep making products out of it that we use for 2 minutes and then throw away. Because the second assumption is that we have infinite disposal capacity, which we're also realizing we don't have as Miami-Dade landfills are starting to fill up. So we need to move towards a more circular economy where basically we get rid of the concept of waste. Waste does not exist at all. There is no such thing. We have to use every material in a circular way. So kind of how we frame this is through the 5 R's. 1, reduce. 2, reuse, recycle, recapture, and redesign. So I'll go through some of these now, but I just want to take a quick little breather because I know a lot of this information can be kind of overwhelming. You're like, oh my God, all these animals are dying, and what am I going to do? But kind of the beauty of the issue of plastic pollution is that everyone can take an action immediately in order to do something. This really is an issue that we have the power to impact. So the first thing that we can do is really just to stop sucking. That's right, I just told you to not suck so much, and I'll let my friends at Lonely Whale explain a little bit more.
I suck.
I may not look like I suck, but I do.
Van Jones sucks.
I've been sucking on TV since I was 10.
Everywhere I could suck, I would suck.
I've sucked in over 90 countries.
Democrats, Republicans, independents, we all suck.
You know who else sucks? Kendrick Sampson.
I'm Kendrick Sampson, and I suck.
We suck together.
Sure, I've sucked, but Una sucks even more.
Una sucks.
And I suck.
And I suck.
And I suck. When someone tweets, I suck, I'm like, I know.
Statistically speaking, most of us suck. Most of us suck every day.
Suck, suck, suck.
Suck. Today, you probably used one of these.
500 million plastic straws are used in this country
every single day.
And many end up in the ocean, polluting water and killing sea life.
If we don't act now, by 2050, there will be more plastic in the ocean than fish.
You know, like you go snorkeling, you look down, and you don't see fish, you see plastic.
But there's something you can do about it.
I will stop sucking.
I will stop sucking.
We will all stop sucking.
We will all stop sucking.
If you do.
Hashtag stop sucking.
Okay, so maybe I'll make that So yeah, so basically step 1, stop sucking in general. That could also include be nice to people, but you know. But yeah, straws are a huge problem. In Miami, every day we're creating 700,000 of them. So next thing, reuse, reusable bags. We use enough plastic bags in America to wrap around the equator 776 times every year. So use reusable bags. If you forget them when you go to the grocery store, ask for paper, or if you carry your stuff to the counter with your hands, You can also carry it to your car with your hands. People sometimes forget that. They bring like one thing and then they're like, oh, can't carry it anymore, I need a bag. So just remember that. Plastic utensils, also a big one. Get some reusable utensils that you can kind of carry around with you. There's some cool bamboo ones. Just throw them in your bag, or if you ended up using plastic utensils, just wash them off, use them again for a while. Or my favorite trick, because I often forget mine, order the burrito instead of the bowl, and then you don't even need silverware. The next thing, plastic cups and plastic bottles. Get a reusable bottle, use it because one, you don't want those plastic fragments going in you anyway. Two, most bottles now are insulated, so why drink something, warm and whatever when you can have something nice and cold and fresh, So it's just nicer in general now. So the next thing, reuse. Reuse everything that's plastic, okay? We just talked about how plastic is forever, so why are we just throwing it out as if it's not forever? So things like Ziploc bags, you can use those over and over and over again. Plastic cups, if you end up going somewhere where you can't bring your own reusable cup, which never happens, or you forget, then just go ahead and use that cup over and over and over again, and by the end of the day, you've saved 10 cups from going into the landfill. So just kind of a new conception of reusing what we have. The third thing, recycle. So one thing I want to preface with recycling is that we haven't been doing a great job of it. Only about 9% of our plastics are actually recycled. And we have in America, actually, the recycling plants here are actually more sorting facilities. And we've been sending all of our sorted waste to Southeast Asia, mostly China. As of January of this year, China said, we don't want your garbage anymore, America. So we actually really need to refocus on what are we doing domestically with recycling, because we don't really have the infrastructure in place. That being said, there's really innovative technology coming out right now regarding recycling. Mainly by this woman named Miranda Wang, and she actually developed this technology in high school, so I thought it was particularly relevant, and I'm going to let her explain a little bit more about it.
Every time you throw away a plastic bottle, it doesn't just disappear. It lives on for hundreds of years, and it's why tomorrow's hero, Miranda Wang, has come up with a solution that helps keep plastic waste from ruining our oceans.
Globally, only 8% of plastic packaging is being recycled. The majority of it is being landfilled, and a lot of it goes into the oceans. Frankly, our world hasn't been moving forward in innovating plastic recycling for the past decades. My name is Miranda Wang, I'm 23 years old. I'm an entrepreneur and innovator, and I'm the co-founder of BioSelection. I've been working on developing innovations to solve the plastic problem ever since I was 17 years old. My high school best friend and I took a field trip to a waste transfer station in Vancouver, Canada, and we were just astounded by how much plastic packaging goes to the landfill. We actually don't know how long it takes for plastics to break down. There are numbers around the world saying it takes longer than 1,500 years. About half of the peninsula in the San Francisco Bay Area, every day 11 metric tons of this material is being recovered at our partner facility. That's about the same weight as about 3 to 4 commercial trucks. So imagine how much film it takes to make up that weight, considering each plastic bag only weighs about 3 to 5 grams. What we have developed is an innovative process, and this process can be used at large scales to process tons and tons of material around the world every day. We're using catalysts that can break down plastics by basically unlocking a mechanism that allows the plastic to have a chain reaction with itself. We are taking dirty plastics. Right now we're focusing on films that are not recyclable. We turn them into chemicals that are essential precursors for products such as nylon, nylon yarn, and also nylon resin that can be used to make products in the automotive and apparel industries. Right now we're able to achieve about 70% conversion from plastic waste material to these chemicals. My dream is to be able to see that something that's, a sad piece of plastic that right now would go to the oceans or landfill could be used to make a brand new Patagonia jacket or a brand new pair of running shoes. When it comes to solving these massive world problems that we have, many of the answers are embedded in technology. There's so much creativity out there and so much knowledge in our world. I believe we are able to solve all of them if we try.
I spoke with Miranda recently, and I really liked this kind of philosophy that she spoke about when she was creating her technology, which is basically, at some point, wouldn't it be great when all of our goods are really just something that's borrowed? It's really just all of this material that continues to be cycled through, whereas at this moment I have, it on my shoes, but in the next moment it could be made into someone else's backpack, for example, and we just continue to actually recycle these chemicals that we're using, so we no longer have to go out and create more chemicals because our world is already full of them, and more plastic because our world is already full of it. Which brings me to the next R, which is recapture. And this is kind of talking about the fact that there's tons of waste product out there. And clearly there's some of this waste product that can be made into new products. So for example, on the right, that's Mike Biddle, and he has a company called MBA Polymers. And he basically goes to landfills and he mines for plastic, and then he creates them into nurdles, which nurdles are the pre-production plastic pellets used to make every single plastic item you see. Basically, they're these little tiny plastic pellets, and you put them in a mold, and you heat up the mold, and voila, you have a bottle, you have a cup, you have a toothbrush. And so he's mining landfills, which these landfills need to get rid of their waste so they can pay him to take the waste, and then he gets to make money again off of making it into something new. So looking at these waste areas as actually places for resources to create new things is really smart. The last one is redesign. So taking waste products and redesigning it into things that we need and use, but not just things that we need and throw away quickly. Again, the most important thing is to reduce our conception of using single-use plastics, where we use something for a moment and throw it away, but using these waste products to make new things that last a long time. For example, on the top left corner, that's a skateboard deck made by Borreo. They collect fishing nets that have been discarded in Chile, and they recreate them into skateboard decks and sunglasses. There's shoes up there they basically take tires from Indonesia. The top right, that's a group called Pinatex. And what they do is they take pineapple leaves and they make a faux leather out of them. So, for example, they're taking all this pineapple waste that might be used for, they might just discard it, but they're making it into leather products. So anyway, there's just a lot of really cool, innovative stuff happening right now regarding these closing the loop to the life cycle of plastics and waste. And yeah, thank you so much for having me.